Hello everyone, this is Chase, back at it again with my first podcast. I made a couple of YouTube videos before, but I want to try out podcast here with my friend Mr. Nathan Guido, and we're going to be having some discussions today for my very first podcast. Nathan, please introduce yourself.
So I go by Nate. Me and Chase have known each other since middle school, played football, went through tough times when COVID, couldn't hang out, couldn't do stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
See, Nate's a real G, bro. We've been friends since we were like 10 years old, and that is really, really special because most of you can't even acquire friendships for longer than a year. So when you have friends for like 10 years straight, you really learn a lot about people and you start to understand a lot of things. But yeah, we're back with my first podcast. I did another podcast about a week ago with my good friend Brandon, who's actually recording this video now, but the camera died, so we were not able to upload it. But I do have Brandon here today recording the video, and he's going to be semi-narrating on this podcast and our discussion topics today. So, Brandon, what were you going to mention?
Okay, so first question for the podcast is, what do you guys think about Donald Trump's assassinations?
All right, this is super, super interesting to me because I am really, really right-wing, right? You do not like Donald Trump at all. I firmly believe that it was planned by the same people that tried to put him in jail, the same people who were trying to take out Donald Trump. I firmly believe that it was planned, bro. What do you think about it? Do you think the Trump assassination was planned?
I think if it was planned, which I don't think it was planned, but if it was...
You think it was some crazy teenager?
Yeah, but if it was planned, it would have had to be by his own team to because now he's going to win the election. That's just how it is.
You think so?
That boosted his ratings so much. So, but I don't think it was planned. I think just some crazy guy.
Well, this is interesting. So here are the facts about the situation. It was about 10 days ago. A lot of people have actually stopped talking about it because a lot has actually happened. The facts that we do know is he was shot in the ear. So a lot of people are trying to say it's fake, to say it's a conspiracy. That is obviously not true because it did happen. And the reason I don't believe that it was planned by Donald Trump is because if you're trying to plan something, why would you risk shooting a bullet at your own ear and your own head? That doesn't actually make sense. So I don't really know. We don't know about the situation. It will be very, very interesting to see in the future. But Joe Biden has actually dropped out of the election. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Nate, we are going to have some interesting discussion topics on this. Why don't you like my man, Donald Trump, my man, the bulletproof legend himself? Why don't you like my boy Donnie T, bro? Big Daddy Trump.
I just don't think he tells the truth.
You don't think he tells the truth, bro?
I don't think he tells the truth.
You told me you don't lie to any of your girlfriends.
No.
You don't. Alright. Bro, so here's the thing that I explain to most people when I say, well, I like Donald Trump. I'm not actually a redneck idiot. I'm going to tell you why. So the thing is here's the thing about how elections work. Of every single election in all of the world, bro. It's actually not. It's not a battle of policy. Because no matter who's the president is, whoever the prime minister is, the laws aren't going to change. The speed limits are still going to be the same. The laws are going to be the same. It's more of just a cultural battle. So, you got to look at it like this. In today's society, you've already seen... Brandon, what are you laughing at? So, literally, since COVID, you've already seen America degrade into a third world country in real time. Literally, gas is up. You can't afford gas, you can't afford food, you can't afford a one-bedroom apartment. Think of it like this. If you were a normal guy in the 1950s, you could graduate high school, you could get an unskilled job working at the post office, making the minimum wage, and you could still afford a house, you could afford a family, you could have kids, you could buy a car, and by the end of the month, you could still have enough to invest in the S&P 500. And by the time you were 70 years old, you would be a millionaire, like all these other baby boomers are. But now if you're an average guy and you work an unskilled minimum wage job, you can't even afford a one-bedroom apartment in the United States. So we've already genuinely seen America degrade into a third world country in real time. And this whole entire idea about whoever the president is affects America in any regard, I think doesn't actually make sense because like every other empire ever, it will implode. Like the Roman Empire imploded. Every empire has ever imploded. So America, it's going to implode eventually. I mean, you already see that the Chinese are taking over everything. Every production comes from Southeast Asia. They have a population 4 times the United States. Like, America is going to fall eventually. So I look at it like this. America's already screwed anyway. And all of you, if you're a young person living in the United States, your best case scenario is you need to be trying to make enough money, you need to be trying to stack your income sources, you need to be trying to stack your investments so you can make enough money to where you can move out. So America's already imploding anyway. But I feel like Donald Trump is only going to slow that degradation of America by a solid like 10, 15 years. That's the reason that I love my man Donald Trump, because it's like elections in general, it's not a battle of policy. It's a battle of culture, basically. So Donald Trump literally is going to slow the degradation of America by a solid like 15 years. Because we're already screwed anyway. If you're a normal guy and you're 19 and you work at McDonald's, you can't even afford a 1-bedroom apartment. So why would you support liberal policies in the first place, bro? You're over here talking about XYZ liberal policies, and I'm like, bro, you can't even deport yourself on a vacation because you can't afford it. So, I don't know, bro. What do you think about that, bro?
My only thing is, it's not only Donald Trump. I don't like Joe Biden either. None of them
He's
are
gone
really,
now because he's senile.
Yeah, I don't think he should have been in office.
Hell yeah.
That's the only option he had, is to drop out. No one was going to vote for him. Unless they're full-blown Democrat, but I don't really see it like that. Vote Democrat, vote Republican.
Yeah, parties don't exist.
Vote for whoever's going to mess up the least. Because no one's going to agree on anything. So you want whoever's going to be the least evil, really.
Yeah, that's fairly true. Thing is, I'm not crazy. But when I look at politicians, just for me personally, I look at a guy like Donald Trump, I'm like, all right, he's a billionaire, he's really successful, his wife's beautiful, he's already achieved all these things. Just as a person, I respect him. Why? Like, he's just a billionaire. Like, he's already conquered the world. And when you get to a point where you're that old and you have all the money in the world, you're not motivated by money. You just want power. Like, you don't care. So that's why I love Donald Trump. I just I respect him as a person, as someone who's obviously trying to make content and trying to, make money for myself. I just look at a guy like him, and that's why I respect him a lot. So.
Well, that's another thing, though. I don't think he cares about the nation. He just cares about himself. Really, he just wants the power. He wants to be in control.
He wants to be a big G.
But also, I don't even think other nations, actually like him. Like, why would I want other nations mad at us because he's our leader? Yeah, I think he's more in control than Biden was. Biden was kind of just a puppet.
Exactly.
People controlled Biden.
He was a puppet.
He was just told what to do as the president. He wasn't the real president. People just kind of gave him what to do, told him what to do, told him what to say. I don't think he was in control, really. Yeah,
here's the thing. Joe Biden was definitely a puppet, and that's why I firmly believe that this whole assassination attempt, all the legal things that's happening to Donald Trump is literally just an attack from the people that do not like him. Because Vladimir Putin literally said this himself. So, for example, I don't know if there is a certain group of people that rule the entire world, but Vladimir Putin literally has said himself that he's seen so many great presidents, they all come in and they all have these grand ideas, but when the people with the big suits walk in, all of a sudden, nothing changes. So that's kind of how Joe Biden is. He's a puppet. He just literally listens to what everyone else says. And then Donald Trump, being Mr. Billionaire, Mr. Stubborn, the way he is, he comes in and he says, no, this is garbage. This is fake news. We don't want you to be transgender. We want you to afford to live. And that's why they hate him so much. So that's why I think he's so hated, Nate.
I mean, I don't really think Donald Trump has done anything, though.
You don't think he's done anything?
I don't think any of them have really done any major difference. The only difference I can see is inflation, but that's going to happen with anyone, really.
That happen.
Gas prices, maybe, but...
So another thing that I mentioned earlier is, it's kind of what I said earlier. If you were an American, I firmly believe that instead of, for example, this is the whole reason why I think politics are kind of garbage anyway. Because when I was 15 years old, I remember during the 2020 election, there was a guy I worked with at the fast food restaurant I worked with at the time. And he was this really, really liberal loser dude. Every single day, he would talk about how much he loved Joe Biden. And this guy was 29 years old, working the same minimum wage job I was working when I was 15. Every day, this guy talked about how much he loved Joe Biden. And guess what? Literally, last week, I stopped by that same restaurant, and he still works there. So, for most of you, elections don't matter. None of it really matters at all. It's not going to change your life in any regard. The only reason that I feel semi-inclined to talk about it is because I know if I make a podcast or I make a YouTube video about it, there's going to be 100, maybe 200 18, 19-year-old guys that watch it and listen to what I actually say. So that's why I feel like I'm a semi kind of want to talk about it. But for the most of you, your number one priority is you should need to get money, you need to get rich, you need to go to the gym, you need to do good in school, you need to become as successful as possible so you can literally get out, bro. Like, for example, in Thailand and like Southeast Asia, you can literally get an apartment, you can get a nice house for like $500 a month. And not only is it cheaper, it's safer there too, bro. So if you're an American, you need to just be trying to get as rich and successful as possible so you can travel the world and go wherever you want to. Because sitting over here and worrying about who's doing who is absolutely stupid in any regard. I feel like, just in general, most of you, if you're in high school, which I know a lot of guys that are young that will be watching this are still young guys that are in high school, would be like 14, 15 years old. You're so consumed with what everyone else is doing. Don't get me wrong, I was there. You're so consumed with what he's doing, what she's doing. Think about it like this. You're literally looking at all the food that other people have on their plate. You're staring at the food that they have. Meanwhile, while the food on your plate is getting cold. So for 99% of you, you don't need to be worried about any of this. You need to go to the gym. You need to get straight A's, you need to get a job, and you start making some money so you can get out as soon as possible. So none of these politicians even apply to you. That's the whole point of why I'm a bit like more right-wing, I guess, because I'm just anti-government. I'm not crazy, I'm just anti-government. That's the whole reason I don't necessarily like marriage. It's not that marriage is a bad thing, but I don't understand why you need the government in between your relationship. That just doesn't make sense. So if you're an American and you're watching this, politics don't matter to you. Just, you need to get as rich and as strong as possible. What do you think about that, Nate? You think that's a good message to live by?
Yeah. Live for yourself. Don't live for anyone else. You want to do what you want to do.
Exactly, bro.
Don't listen to anyone else.
Don't listen to anyone else.
Except us, obviously.
Do push-ups.
What do you think about Biden dropping out?
It was he's a puppet, bro. I don't even think that he knew he even dropped out. He was told to.
He was definitely told to.
He was told to.
It's his age. Like, there's nothing he could do about it. There's nothing anyone could do about it. He can't make decisions for himself anymore. He needs help, and we can't have someone like that lead us. There's no...
The exact same people that are trying to put Donald Trump in jail are the exact same people that told Joe Biden to drop out. If you somehow believe that he had one bad debate and all of a sudden that's why they're dropping out and it was his personal decision, that's not how the world works. What do you think about that? He was told to.
Yeah, he was definitely
told to.
That's kind of how everything...
Yeah, but I don't know. It'll be necessarily interesting to see how it works out. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. For 99% of you, who the president is and who the politician is does not affect your life in any regard. So, yeah, elections are definitely an interesting topic. If you're smart and you watch markets and you look at business opportunities, you may or may not even make significant amounts of money, depending upon who wins the presidential election. Like, I don't even care if you like Donald Trump or not. If you want to make money, there's no reason you can't make a drop shipping store and start selling Donald Trump t-shirts right now and make 10 grand before the election. So, do you have anything to comment on that, Nate?
No, I pretty much did it.
Yeah, bro.
Do you think university is a scam, and why?
University to me is a super, super interesting topic. Because I go to uni. Brandon's in high school. He'll be there soon. You've never gone to uni. You're in community college. But university is super interesting to me because I look at it from this perspective. Let's say you take the average 18, 19-year-old that's just graduated high school and you say, here's $100,000. Here's $100,000. the average 18, 19-year-old. You can say, you can go to trade school, you could learn a skill like plumbing, you could be a paramedic, you could be a welder, you could go to trade school and you could get a job to actually make 6 figures starting off when you're 20, 21 years old. You could buy a rental property, you could buy a nice car, you could buy a crypto coin. If you were to say to the average 18, 19-year-old boy that just graduated high school, here's $100,000, how many of them would say, I'm going to go spend $50,000 this year to pay my college tuition? How many of them would say that?
Probably most of them. If they're in school, they're definitely going to go pay that, but not necessarily
You're saying if you graduate high school and you had $100,000, would you say, I'm going to go spend all of this on college tuition?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I would.
Brandon, what would you do?
Yes.
I would definitely spend it on cars.
You'd spend it on cars. The thing is with me, I look at it as it's super, super interesting because university is good. Don't get me wrong, I go to university, I'm still taking classes, but my school isn't expensive at all. But I look at it like in today's society, there are so many ways to make money. For most of you, the easiest way to become a millionaire by the time you're in your 20s is as soon as you graduate high school, go to a trade school, learn something that you can start making money with immediately, work nonstop every day, save and invest, and build up your income sources. That's the only way to really, I feel like, kind of get rich when you're young. So the idea of going to university during the prime years of your life when you need to be working, I don't know if that's the best decision for everyone. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not really sure because it's not for everyone. College is definitely not for everyone. If you're looking for a specific career, college will give you a head start when you start that career. It's really, say, not any specific job, but say you're going to start a job with no college experience at all. They're going to start you off, say, $50K. Well,
probably
if you have
lower.
that college career, they might start you at $70K.
Yep.
And you'll get your raises faster and faster. It's kind of just a boost in your career. Not really anything different.
Exactly. It's definitely completely subjective. My only problem is with most university students is you go to university, you spend outrageous amounts of money on tuition, you're not on scholarship because you didn't make good grades in high school, and then you get to university. And then besides even trying to hustle, besides even trying to work, you don't even try to make good grades. You just join fraternities, and you go to fraternity parties, and you get drunk every weekend. And you don't even do anything important with your time while you're young. That's another thing that I find super, super interesting with most of you. A lot of people that are in university, they make it their entire personality, which I find super, super interesting. I look at it like this. If I wanted to promote, say, my podcast or my YouTube channel, I would have to actively scout out people and say, hello, here's $50. Can you repost my page on your Instagram? And they'd be like, sure. But most of you, you're paying outrageous sums of tuition to a university. So you're paying them money for education that you could get for free at a junior college, right? So you're already getting scammed. And on top of that, you're advertising them for free. Bro, like for example, if I wanted to advertise my brand, I would have to actively pay money to promote it. But most of you are paying money to go to university and you're advertising them for free. It's like your entire Instagram bio is your university. All your Instagram bio, like all your post is your university. So I look at it for most of you, like, why? Why do you make it your entire personality? Why?
Some people, they just want to show off. Like,
they want to show off.
Not everyone can go to university. So
that's right.
If they are at university, they want to be like, hey, not everyone can do this. I want to show it off. Yeah. That's just how some people are. Like, they might never even use that degree that they're going to get.
For sure.
So that's kind of how I see it with some of them. But really, I don't know if it's for everyone. Like, it's not going to help everyone with what they want to do.
That's definitely true.
So Chase, tell us about your new bike.
My new bike. So yeah, we've had a very, very long day. That's why I feel like now probably isn't even necessarily the best day to do a first podcast because me and him are both absolutely exhausted because we actually drove out about an hour to buy me my first motorcycle, which is an absolutely beautiful sports bike, Kawasaki Ninja. And we were literally at the dealership for 4 hours. It took forever. And we drove it back an hour. And it took forever. So we were absolutely exhausted. But yeah, today I got my first motorcycle. Might be something that I'll get into more in the future. You know a lot about bikes. What do you think about my bike, Nate?
It's pretty nice. Great beginner bike. It's not going to keep up with the fastest bikes in the world. Won't keep up with anything I got really, but it's so smooth, nice, easy bike to start on, easy to learn the clutch on. I think it's gonna be a great bike for you.
How many chicks do you think I can get on that bike? Chicks per bike ratio.
As long as they don't know anything about bikes.
As long as they don't know anything about bikes, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. Bro, they'll be like, oh, your bike's only a 500. I'll be like, bro, these dudes will be like, oh, dude, you only bought a 500. I'll be like, bro, your girl doesn't know the difference.
Plus, a 500, most cars, it'll smoke any car. Like, obviously, souped up muscle cars won't keep up with, but any other car, shit.
Yeah, bro. So I got a first bike today. It cost about $6,000. Follow Chase Parker Enterprises on Instagram so you can see me doing some wheelies in it in the future. I'm sure you'll find that entertaining. But cars and motorcycles are absolutely the best things in the world to spend your money on. Because I actually firmly believe that money isn't real. It's just numbers in a screen, and it is the stored time and energy of other people. But it is freedom. But I feel like to a certain extent, you have to spend half of your money like you're only going to live for 50 more days. And you have to spend the other half of your money like you're going to live for 50 more years. Because think of it like this. You might actually die within the next 50 days. There's no guarantee that you're not going to go to work tomorrow and you're going to get ran over by a car. That is why you need to be grateful every single day. So if you have 50 grand in your bank account, just go ahead and spend something that you're going to enjoy. Because for all you know, there are probably people watching this podcast right now. If this podcast gets 1,000 or 2,000 views, like it probably will, there's probably a person watching this podcast right now, even if it's only one person, that may not be alive 1 or 2 years from now. Because we never know. So I feel like you need to spend half of your money like you're going to die in 50 more days, and the other half of your money like you're going to live for 50 more years. Because you might live for 50 more years. That's why it's important to invest and save and buy property. But don't forget, if there's a nice car, there's a nice bike you want, and you're working hard, please go buy it, because it will definitely make your life much, much more enjoyable. Do you agree with that philosophy?
Yes, of course.
You do.
You gotta live your life to the fullest. People say if you want to buy a motorcycle, they might say, oh, motorcycles are dangerous.
It's dangerous.
You could slip in a bathroom.
I like Joe Biden. Motorcycles are dangerous.
So it's kind of like, just live your life. Just do what you want to do. You don't gotta listen to other people.
Yep.
Oh, it's a hazard. Everything's a hazard. You gotta live.
Everything's a hazard, bro. Do whatever you want to do. There are gonna be some people that call me weird. There are gonna be some people that call me out of crazy for making podcasts, because it's out of the ordinary thing. But I don't care, because I only live once and only live one life, and I have to do whatever I want to do. So that's why you gotta walk through the world.
Chase, tell us about your boxing deal that you got.
Yeah, this is the thing that I find super, super interesting. So me and Nate, we go way back. I started playing football when I was like 10 or 11 years old. I literally played football for 5 years because of this dude specifically. He talked me into it. I didn't even really like football, but we just started hanging out, and you get into different friend groups and you start playing sports. And that's the thing about sports, and I feel like college sports in general. Thing is, sports, they take up a lot of time, especially for you to be really, really good at a sport. And if you want to be like a really good football athlete, you have to do nothing but train football every single day. Like I remember like being in the 9th grade high school football. It's practice 4 hours a day. Weightlifting is another hour a day. After you finish all of that, you're absolutely exhausted. And outside of that, all of your hobbies are just football. You don't have time for a job. You don't have time to do good in school. And you know about that. What do you have to say about that commitment? It's definitely hard.
It's definitely not easy. Not for everyone. Me, Since 7th grade, all through high school, I played football. I didn't really have much time. Monday through Friday, I'm at practice, going to school and everything. And I was an early college student, had a lot of classes to do. Then weekends, I worked. I only had 2 days to work. Wasn't making too much money, but those were only days I could work. That's all I did. Football, work, sleep, school. That's all I had.
Sports are brutal. That's why I respect the absolute crap out of all of you collegiate athletes, because genuinely, I know 99% of you will not accomplish anything with your sport. That's how sports work. There's 100 people that play sport, and 99% of them don't make any money out of it, that don't get any career out of it. And that's another reason why Brandon mentioned me getting into boxing, because I go to the gym pretty much all the time. When I quit football when I was like 16, and I really, when I was 17, I got into like boxing and doing like boxing workouts. And when I was 18 and I started university, I actually joined the boxing club at my university, and we had like little sparring sessions and whatnot. It was actually pretty fun, and they had tryouts for a boxing team at the university. And me, I'm a hustler, bro. I look at it from this perspective. If I'm going to be going to a boxing team every single day, training hard every single day, and I'm going to do a pro fight where I'm risking getting knocked out and dying, I at least want to get a solid $500 for it. So, yeah, I tried to join the boxing team, but they were just like, you don't get paid at all. So I was like, all right, I'm not interested in doing this. So I just did some boxing workouts on my own, and I, interestingly enough, got an offer recently to do a fight tournament for 10 grand. It was one of these guys that hit me up. He was like, yo, we can do a fight tournament. I put up 2 grand, you put up 2 grand. We get like 3 or 4 guys. We do it at a local fight gym. We can sell some tickets. We do a little fight tournament. It'll be 4 of us. It'll be like 3 fights. And the winner of the entire fight tournament will say like, get the whole like 10, 15 grand. And the reason I'm a bit hesitant about doing professional fighting, and that's the reason Brandon asked me about this, is because the thing is boxing is a super interesting sport, because if you get knocked out in a sport like boxing, you can genuinely die. And I understand this personally from playing football, is there are a lot of guys that their entire life is football. That's all they do. So I know, for example, it would be really foolish of me to step into a boxing ring with a guy that does nothing but train, that has absolutely no money, that could genuinely knock me out for 10 grand. I mean, like I said, if I trained daily and I went to the gym and I ate right, would I possibly be able to be a semi-decent amateur boxer or MMA athlete? Possibly. But I don't necessarily know. How do you feel about that, Nate?
I just think it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough.
Like, you got to work really hard.
It's going to be really hard. Exactly.
And, like, just finding the time to get to that level.
Exactly.
To where you actually have a chance at earning, it's so hard and so tough that it probably isn't even worth it at the end of the day. But it's a game time decision. It's up to you. You got to, like, make that decision, and you got to commit to it.
Exactly. Yeah, so for all I know, if you want to spar with me and some of my bros, hit me up, Chase Parker Enterprises on Instagram. We can hang out, we can do some fun stuff. But I don't know, yeah, I'm definitely nervous to box someone professionally, even if I got the offer for it, because I know somewhere out there in the world there is going to be some dude out there that has no money, no car, no apartment, that hates that I like Donald Trump. And if I give him the opportunity to knock me out, he's going to try to kill me for 10 grand.
You might have that dog in it too.
Dude, that's why I'm scared. So, but hopefully if I'm there, you'll be there with me, cheering me on. So, yeah.
Do you guys think frats are a scam? And if so, why?
So this is the super interesting thing. So a lot of dudes that I talk to at university, you guys are in fraternities. And I think that fraternities are actually, they're kind of odd, because it's like paid to have friends. Like, I remember during my first week or 2 of university, and a bunch of people asking me, like, bro, you want to join this frat? You want to go to this frat event? I'm like, this frat event, this party. I'm like, why would you be interested in joining that? Like, I look at it like I've had the same exact friends since 10 years ago. Like, he's been my friend for 10 years. If I want friends, I don't need to buy to have friends. I don't need to go to events. Like, for example, I don't understand why a lot of you frat guys, you're going to university, but instead of getting a job and hustling and saving money and investing it so you can maybe buy a house in your early 20s, you're just drinking booze on the weekends. Like, why? In what world is that a smart move? Like, do you think, like, maybe I'm being very judgmental, but I think a lot of you dudes that are in fraternities, you look like absolute idiots because you're not hustling, you're not working, you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a man. Instead, you're just going to little frat events, giving each other little hugs and saying you're brothers. But deep down inside, I know that most of these people, they don't even like each other. We've talked about this, like, you know how you said earlier, like, teenage girls, they'll be like hugging up on each other, but like deep down they like all secretly hate each other.
That's just kind of how girls are.
That's how teenage girls are.
Hate each other.
Like, for example, I literally, like, for example, if you ever go on Instagram and you see an event or you see a party with people taking a bunch of photos and they all look happy, I promise you, none of them are actually having a good time. Like, I know this personally. Because think about it, if you were at an event and you were genuinely having a good time, you wouldn't take your phone out and take 100 pictures.
Yeah, you'd be preoccupied having a good time.
So, this is what I'm saying with most of you people, like, if you have a genuine, real friendship, like me and this guy, we've been best friends for like 10 years, we talk all the time. I genuinely think I have less than 10 pictures of us in our phone. That's because every time we're hanging out, we're doing things. We're not sitting here taking pictures. So, a lot of these guys are in frats. I just look at you like, what are you doing? Go get a job. There's no reason that you shouldn't be buying a rental property when you're 19. Like, why? Why are you going to the club? Why are you going to football games? Why are you promoting a basketball team and a football team that doesn't care about you at all? When you could be working, you could be growing a YouTube video, you could be doing a podcast, you could be getting some money, you could be buying new cars, new motorcycles every week, and you could be growing your own empire. So why are you in a frat? Maybe I'm super judgmental, but what do you think about dudes in frats? Do you think it's an absolute waste of time?
I mean, honestly, I don't even have a comment on it.
He doesn't
I
go to uni, bro.
have no idea about it. I'll be going to university soon.
Yeah, he'll be going to university. Brandon, what do you think about the frat dudes, bro?
Some are cool, some are not.
Some are cool, some are not. That's how I feel about some of them. But I'm definitely saying for a lot of you frat guys that are going to watch this, please go to the gym, go get some money, and that will definitely be a lot more rewarding than whatever brotherhood you have.
Let's talk about money and hustling.
Money and hustling. That kind of just goes back to what we were just talking about. I know me personally, I have a lot of things I'm trying to do right now. I genuinely work all the time. I just turned 19 literally like a week ago, but genuinely since the beginning of 2023, not 2023, 2024, so for the past 6 months, I've been pretty much working non-stop every day. And for the past 6 months, I've genuinely averaged a solid like $6-7 grand a month income, just hustling. So I know I have a lot of things I'm doing on the side. I mean, me personally, I just think about money all the time. That's why I'm trying to start this podcast, because I'm going to help a lot of you guys that actually ask me questions about how to make money. I want to help put you guys on a little bit, because I know some of you will actually listen to me with what I say. Nate, me and you have two completely different ideas on philosophies about money. So what do you think about money, bro?
Money, it's a necessary evil. I don't really care to have a bunch of money in my bank account. That's not really my main goal. My main goal is to be living comfortably, have money there in case I need it. But really, I just want to have the cool stuff that I want, like cars, motorcycles.
So you want a Lamborghini?
No.
You don't want a Lambo?
I can settle for a Corvette or a Camaro. I don't need a Lambo. What are you going to do out on the street anyways? It's even faster. I don't do highway poles either. I go
You're
around.
telling me you don't want to pull up to the club in your Lambo?
What do I care what other people think? I can pull up on a motorcycle.
That's true. I can pull up on the
People
motorcycle
can be
now.
10 times more impressed on a motorcycle. Something that actually takes skill.
That's fair. Yeah, but I have a lot of things I'm currently working on. I know me. I'm really into I really promote trades, because I feel like genuinely most of you guys that are 18, 19 years old, there's no excuse for you being broke. Go down to your local community college, do plumbing, learn plumbing, learn how to be an electrician, take a class, and in 6 months, there's no reason where you can't have a job making $25 an hour and work 15, 16 hours a day, and there's no reason you can't be making $300, $400, $500 a day right now. Like literally earlier this week, yesterday, I made like $550 between all my income sources. I'm 19. So I got a lot of things I'm doing on the side. Just bought my bike. I know another thing I'm looking to do this year is I'm trying to put a down payment on my first rental. I want to get back into doing e-com, keep working while doing my college classes. So there's a bunch of stuff that's going down on the side. I can't really get much into it in depth on this podcast. I mean, I update my Instagram like every single day. So Chase Parker Enterprises, you can follow me on IG. I literally post money and hustle free game on there every single day. I'll plug that multiple times.
Let's talk about Chase's game and Nate's game.
All right, my game, bro. I remember this. So my whole philosophy on talking to chicks, girls, women, whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to call them females. I'm going to call them women because I know there's going to be some op on this podcast that I'm going to call them females. And they're going to go in there and be like, you don't call women females, Chase. You're a misogynist. Don't say that. So I have an interesting concept on talking to women because I remember when I was like 16 years old, I was a smart kid. I was working full time, but I learned that if you want to get good at school, you have to actively put energy into getting good at school. Like for example, if you want to get good at a sport, you have to actually put time and energy into learning how to play that sport. So it's the same thing with talking to girls. Like I know, for example, if you want to get good at talking to girls, you just have to practice talking to girls. That's just how it is. So that's what I learned when I was like 16, 17. I don't know. I'm kind of... The only reason I want to talk about it, because I don't really want to make podcasts about talking about girls. I feel like it's kind of like a low-level thing to talk about. But the thing that I think is super interesting for most of you guys, you're really interested in dating and talking to girls, and you genuinely have less than $1,000 in your savings account. So how do you feel about that whole idea, Nate? I know me and you, we have completely different philosophies, but how do you feel about, say, a young guy that's broke, that's not necessarily where he wants to be in life, that's not necessarily in good shape, that's not really good at anything? Do you think it's even worth his time and his energy to try to date at all?
Yes and no. Because you got to be able to take care of yourself first. So if you don't have financials to take care of yourself, you got to focus on that. You got to get yourself set up in a good place. You got to be ready. You never know what could happen. You're going to need money. But if you need a relationship too, that can help. But you got to have a good relationship.
Yep.
Someone who's willing to help you and actually work with you. I've been in a stable relationship for 3 years.
Nate and Brandon both have wives. Nate's 19, Brandon's 17, and Brandon's had a wife for like 4 years.
3 years.
Nate's had a wife for like 3 years, bro.
And both of us, we don't have a lot of money, but we always work. We work hard. We work together. We're not, oh, they'll take care of me, or she'll take care of me. It's like, you got to be able to take care of yourselves first, and then someone who you guys can work together and take care of each other. It's kind of just, that's how I see it. Some may agree, some may disagree.
He's definitely right, but I'm saying for 98% of the young guys watching this, that does not exist for you. It might not. But for most of you, your number one priority should be trying to be the best version of yourself. Because I've had guys that I know, they'll be like, I want to talk to girls. I like girls. I want to talk to girls. I'm like, bro, you are poor. You have nothing going for you. Why are you concerned with talking to girls? It doesn't make sense. So I'm at kind of an interesting stance on it. I don't necessarily know what guys should do. I mean, definitely if you see a pretty girl your age that you like, go and talk to her. Don't be creepy. Don't be weird about it. But I definitely think that just working 16, 17 hours a day is more important than dating if you're like a 20-year-old guy.
17 hours a day?
Bro, 17 hours a day is a light day, bro.
I don't know about that.
Bro, look, what we've been doing today, I literally did an overnight shift. I finished my 24, so I literally worked from midnight to 6 a.m. I slept for 4 hours. I hung out with you all day. We went on that whole chase with riding the motorcycle, and now we're back literally at nearly almost midnight doing a podcast.
I don't consider it working.
We're out here, but it had to get done though.
It had to get done, but it was worth it. It was fun. Great little journey. When got you your first bike.
Oh yeah,
so
bro.
it was fun.
Yeah, so for most of you guys out here, go to talk to girls, go do your thing, but I'm telling you, your money and you are the prize. A lot of these guys out here, you are the prize. Literally, you becoming the best version of yourself should be the number one priority in yourself, and chicks are a bonus. Literally, the reward in and of itself is becoming the best version of you. And if you're becoming the best version of you, you're working every day, you're doing good in your academics, you're creating something for yourself, you're going to get a couple girls along the way that are going to be interested in you. Sure, but that's all a bonus. The cars are a bonus, the whatever job you get is a bonus. But for most of you, you are the prize. And I look at it from this perspective, bro. If you really like a girl and say she blocks you or she stops talking to you, good. Because that is unlimited motivation for you to go to the gym every day, for you to get money every day, and for you to become the best version of yourself. So, and I feel like a lot of guys, they don't share that same mindset. But I mean, I don't know. You guys are practically married, so I don't think the same way you do. But
yeah, that's kind of how it is.
All right.
Most attractive thing you can do, though, be able to take care of yourself.
Be able to take care of yourself, bro. Go get a motorcycle. Alright, so that just finished our entire podcast. It may have been a bit lame, it might have been a bit weird, but bear with us here. This is our very first podcast. I think it was fairly interesting. We talked about some cool subjects, went by really, really quickly. We've had a very, very long day, so we're all completely exhausted. But if you've made it to this point and you watched all of it, you were either someone who's my best friend, or you were a girl who's stalking me and you were in love with me. Either way, I'm completely fine with that. I love each and every single one of you very, very much. And thank you for supporting my channel. If you were interested in doing a podcast with me in the future, and you were interesting and you have something to add, please contact me, and I would love to do a podcast with you. So I love each and every single one of my viewers very, very much, and I love you all. Wish you nothing but luck in the future. Goodbye.